Oops. Maybe you didn't know, but I don't get paid for this. Yeah, mostly because of copyright issues. Yay, YouTube. But you know what you can do to support me? Become a member on my YouTube channel. And when you do that, as a bonus, you get access to all my unedited music video reactions, movie reactions, and TV show reactions. That is, if I'm not too embarrassed to share them after filming them. Anyway, you'll see. Okie dokie. So, let's just read a bit of context. Because I literally know nothing about this album. I've listened to nothing about Wuthering Heights by Charli Xcx. I should not mess it up. But what is written is, Wuthering Heights is the album accompaniment to Emerald Fennell's February 2026 film of the same name. The album was first teased on September 3rd, with additional details on November 6th. There's been singles that have been released, yada, yada, yada. But essentially, it is a story. I know nothing about this, by the way. I know nothing about Wuthering Heights. I believe that it was Emily Bronte who wrote the original story. Yeah. And I've only read, I think, one book by Emily Bronte. So is she the one who wrote Jane Eyre? Wait, hold on. Jane. Oh no, it's a different Bronte. It's Charlotte Bronte. Whoa! Wait, are they? Hold on a minute. Yada yada. And the elder sister of Emily Bronte. Oh, so they're a whole family of writers. Interesting. Okay. Well, you know what? That's how uneducated I was, I guess. So yes, I wrote. I read Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte, and now I'm learning that Wuthering Heights was written by her sister, Emily Bronte. There's a movie, and it features Jacob Elordi and what's her name, who played in Barbie, Margot Robbie, that I love quite a bit. And this album came out as an accompaniment to the movie, so kind of a soundtrack for the movie. I have no idea what to expect out of it. I'm really curious, but there's been some visuals. There's also some music videos I will react to a little later on. And without further ado, let's start the album Wuthering Heights. Oh, wait, I just realized that I'm not even sharing the screen. Okay.
Can I speak to you privately for a moment?
Oh. This is John Cale. Yeah, okay.
Explain the circumstances I find myself in. What and who I really am. I'm a prisoner to live for eternity.
Okay.
I was thinking, what is this place? I thought it would be perfect. I thought. I wanted to be perfect. Please. Let it be perfect.
I have a feeling this is a passage in the book. Potentially.
Am I living in another world?
You're so much like
Another world I
suspense.
created? For what? If it's beauty, do you see beauty? If there's beauty, say it's enough.
Whoa.
I'm gonna die in this house.
Whoa.
I think I'm gonna
I'm gonna die in this house.
Wow.
You're gonna die in this.
Oh my god. Wow. Okay.
In every room, I hear silence.
Okay, hold on. Before we go any further, here are my initial thoughts. A, this has the same, I mean, it's obviously made for a movie, but it has the same eeriness and cinematography and the sound as if I can't have Love, I Want Power by Halsey. We're gonna have a lot. I feel like we're gonna be a lot more experimental with this album. We're gonna be a lot darker with this album. We're gonna play with sounds that are a lot more harsh to represent probably some sort of like effect that the movie has, and it's gonna be a lot more taxing mentally as a project. Less more pop sounding, right? Less more light, less more catchy, but more intense, dramatic, and really bring on that cinematographic style to the music. This is like we're starting a journey, and I'm really excited about this because I feel like this project is going to be like one of the few that I listen to that feels like you're walking in a museum, and each track is going to be a painting that you're looking at, observing for a certain amount of time. I already can tell that it might not be the type of album that I necessarily go back to listen to over and over again. But while we're on this journey together of listening to this album, I'm going to feel like I'm being transported in a story, which makes a lot of sense. It's aligned with the movie. But that's how I like albums. I like them to be like, a film of their own, if you will, in a way. Okay, so that was House. And also narration by John Cale. Wow. There's something so theatrical about his performance. And just like, I feel like I was almost like listening to the intro of a music video. A video game. That's what I meant to say. Of like the suspense and like everybody's dying. It's war. And like it was intense, but beautiful, beautiful performance. Okay. Which brings us to the next track. Number 2. Wall of Sound. Okay.
Unbelievable tension, wall of sound.
Ooh, the strings.
And I can't escape it. Unbelievable tension, wall of sound. Monolithic, so I'm gonna stay still. 'Cause every time I try, talking myself backwards away from my desires. Something inside stops me, oh, every time I try. Something inside stops me, yeah. Every time I try,
Ooh.
talking myself backwards away from my desires. Something inside stops me, oh, every time.
Ooh, the vocal production.
Yeah, unbelievable pressure, wall of sound, love and hatred, and I can't escape it. Till you hear it, that wall of sound growing louder.
Wow.
Stay still, 'cause every time I try, talking myself backwards away from my desires. Something inside stops me, oh, every time I
Oh,
try.
the strings.
Stops me, yeah. Every time I try, talking myself backwards away from my desires. Something inside stops me, oh, every time I try. Something inside stops me,
It's like a mix of sadness and hauntingness.
tell me that you need me. You ain't keeps me breathing, keeps my heart beating.
Oh,
Tell me that you need me. Tell me that you need
Oh, I already have shivers. Oh, the cutout. Okay. Whoa. There's something about the production and the strings which kind of add two different elements. An element of eeriness, once again, of like feeling haunted by the thoughts and the small voice in your mind saying, stop, stop yourself. You don't deserve this. And, whatever is stopping her, or the narrator of the story, I guess. And the sadness of it, of like when you do have that voice, when somebody inside your head is telling you to stop, and you're like, man, I shouldn't have let that stop me. I should have done it anyways. Yeah, there's like a dichotomy between the two different voices, like almost the angel and the devil on your shoulders, of like, you shouldn't be doing this, stop yourself, and man, I regret stopping myself. And it's represented in the strings. There are some chords that are very, like very, very eerie, but then some chords that are so sad in the production. And once again, the mixing, the vocal arrangement and the chorus of like the chaos really represents like mentally what's going on inside a person's mind. So wow, production wise, there's a lot of production value in this. Hello, Brendan. What do you mean? How nice of you to stream while asleep. Very mature, Zach. Very mature. I'm sorry. It's a very normal time for me. It just happens to be on a Friday, which is not often. But you're catching the stream on time because we just started the album Wuthering Heights by Charli Xcx. Wow. Okay. Which that brings us to the next track of the album. Okay. Dying for You. Ooh. Ooh.
Ever since I can remember, I felt it in my bones. A tragic destiny was reserved for me all on my own. But oh, I didn't know why. Oh no, no, I
Oh, there's an absence of auto-tune in this performance, which is really interesting. Wow, okay. Whoa! You know what? That's a lot more pop sounding than I expected from this project. Oh, wow. Okay.
Ever since I can remember, I set myself on fire and lay down in the road and wait to feel the weight of the tides. But oh, I didn't know why. Oh no, no, I didn't know. But then I kissed your lips and realized I was dying for you. Cause you're the poison I drink. I drink you twice to be sure.
Toxic love, come through, come on.
I'm losing gallons of blood. The river's turning to red. I got a smile on my face. I bleed even. All the pain and torture that I went through, I make sense.
I really, really love this. It's kind of a dark synth pop moment. Whoa. Woo. This is kind of like the dark side of Brat. Brat was the sun. This is kind of like the moon almost. It's like similar but different. Mm. Whoa. Okay. You know what? I've noticed that there's a little bit of silence after every track, and I really like this because it kind of creates like different chapters. We don't jump into another chapter like quickly, and I really appreciate that. Um, there's something in the production, and I think, especially at the beginning, there was a synth, and it sounded like strings, but it wasn't exactly pure strings, and it creates a really nice continuity in the production of the album. So we're really transitioning into, you know, those moments without losing sight of the context and the environment that we're in. This is definitely more pop than I was expecting, but I really, really, really like it. There's she did a really, really good job at taking the whole like dying for you and finding all the ways that someone can die for somebody else in a romantic fashion, you know, like the whole you're holding a gun to my head and you're the wind in my chest, and you're my favorite jewelry worn just like a noose around my neck, which it's like the weight of it, right? If it's a very heavy jewelry, like the biggest diamonds, but they're heavy as hell and they're bringing you down in the process. So it's like taking this very dark matter, that dark topic, and just laying it out in different ways metaphorically of how this applies. And then obviously in true Charli fashion, the production and the writing of it is also right up her signature alley. And wow, I really, really enjoyed this one. It gives you A Love and Fear by Marina. I think it's one of the tracks that I haven't discovered yet by Marina, so I might have to eventually get to it. You know why you know what? I could have used that chorus one last time because it's catchy. That's true. But that's why you replay the song. You just put it on a loop and you listen to it again and again. But I agree, the chorus is really, really catchy, and I really appreciate that. I feel like we're gonna have a lot more like somber moments in the album, and once in a while we're gonna have moments like these that are a little more catchy, a little more pop-y. But after the intro track and the second track, this one makes a lot of sense. A lot of sense, and it's like a good pacing so far. Which now brings us to the next track, Always Everywhere. We're really gonna have a lot of strings in this album, huh? But it adds to the cinematography of it all. So I like.
On the hillside, shadows chase the dawn. Your name is carved where the wild winds have gone. Black flowers burn, violet fades to grey. Still I hear your laughter tearing through the rain. I can't escape the storm you gave me. Constant lightning in my veins.
Oh.
Every echo calls your name, calls your name, calls your name. Flash right back at me. Always everywhere.
Oh. I understand this track so much. The unhealthy obsessiveness of like, even if you break links, you think about them all the time. And the drama of the strings.
On the water, your face on top of mine. A fevered dream of mirrored features, hungry eyes. I feel like home, still you pull away. You disappear to somewhere dark, so far away. The storm you gave me, constant lightning in my veins. Every echo calls your name, calls your name, calls your name. Flash right back at me.
Mm.
Always everywhere. Always everywhere. Yeah, you're everywhere.
Wow. Wow. See, there's always like 3 to 4 seconds of silence in between. I appreciate that. um, so, okay. There's something about this track which really, for some reason, reminds me of Sarah Bareilles. Okay? Sarah does a lot of magnificent piano ballads, and I one of the tracks that really hit me a lot when I first listened to it was her adaptation of Tightrope from the movie The Greatest Showman. And there's something in the performance of it that the emotional magnitude of the delivery of the track that just like creates such a like it's hard not to be empathetic towards what's going on in the song, especially if you're reading the lyrics. Now, it might be a me thing, but I like from previous love stories where there is a certain degree of toxicity, not necessarily caused by the other person, but just by the level of unhealthy, I guess, obsession that was built, triggered over several events and reasons. The whole like I can't escape the storm you gave me, constant lightning in my veins, like it feels like every twist and every turn that I do, I think of you. I'm stuck in a mindset where I'm always thinking of you, and I can't get out of it. You know, every echo calls your name, and you know it flashes right back at me in the sense of like whatever I do, it reminds me of something, like an event that happened, a memory that I have with that person, right? And so I mean, literally, the whole movie must be about some sort of very toxic relationship between the two protagonists, and this is portrayed really, really well in the lyrics, in my opinion. This is why I love albums that sort of are such strong concept albums that they kind of have this storyline to them, and it gives the songs purpose. They're not just a collection of tracks that were written across like a year and a half, 2 years. They're like, oh, this one sounds best, this one sounds best, this one sounds best, let's make an album. That's a playlist. When you're making an album, there should be a cohesiveness in the lyrics and the sound. There should be a progression. There should be a storyline that we feel throughout the tracks. And I naturally, because it's written for a movie, I feel it, but I commend Charli on respecting that as a form of art making. And anyway, just the emotions of the song and the weight that pulls you down from it, and just like always everywhere, you're everywhere. Just it hits, you know. I completely understand what this means and what it is about. Okay. Thankfully, this is the last project we're doing because I'm feeling my voice already disappear slowly but surely. But we're gonna move on to the next track, Chains of Love. Are you jealous of the people who get to chat with me in my videos? If that's the case, follow me on Twitch and join me during one of my live streams. Just make sure you're not a bot who's trying to sell me viewers. I will ban you for that. I do my best to make sure the most accurate timestamps are available in my video descriptions, so that, you know, you can skip the boring parts and head right for the music instead of me talking. You know, this would be a lot more fun if you subscribed and stuck around for more videos. After all, I am stuck in here. I'm just kidding, I'm not. Or am I?
rather drown in a stream. I'd rather let myself on fire. I'd rather wear all these scars. I'd rather watch my skin bleed in the eye of your storm.
Oh, we're kind of a callback to the previous track.
Shattering like glass.
Whoa! Wow. Okay. Mm-hmm. That was a nice falsetto. It's crazy because you see the you physically see the chains, you know, they just the energy of the track. It just the picture is clear in my brain. Oh, hey, Explorer. Welcome to the stream. I mean, we're talking about the type of love that has such a grip on you that it will never let you go, which is really just a mental prison, right? It's nothing too physical, or at least I don't think so, but it's just that you're so caught up in this toxic love that you just don't want to give it up. You don't want to give up the person. You still want them around you, but to the detriment of what they're doing to you. Granted, I don't know what the storyline is for Wuthering Heights, and I feel like I'm going to take a second to look it up because at some point I think it would be interesting to have a bit more context as to what it is about. I mean, definitely. Okay, let me see very quickly what this is about. A classic of English Gothic literature renowned for its intense portrayal of passionate love, obsession, and revenge set on the Yorkshire moors. It follows a tumultuous relationship between Catherine Earnshaw and Heathcliff, a foundling who becomes consumed by vengeance after being separated from her, damaging 2 generations of Earnshaw and Linton families. Almost kind of it's like a dark twist on Romeo and Juliet. If they weren't as young and naive and they were filled with the desire for revenge. And then the plot: following her father's death, Catherine marries the refined Edgar Linton, causing a heartbroken and humiliated Heathcliff to leave and return years later as a wealthy man to destroy the families. Damn. Okay. So we're really in that chapter of the movie where they're, you know, in the all-consuming love. We're not yet in the revenge portion, I feel. We're really in the heartbreak of like, I don't want to let you go, but I'm being forced to let you go chapter. Which now brings us to Out of Myself.
You take me out of myself.
Ooh. I feel like we're going to have another pop-ish moment.
I'm holding on tight. Forbidden fruit brought me back to
Okay. Ooh. And the presence of the strings like that, the strings arrangement is amazing. Huh. Okay. And I do want to say that the previous track and a little bit of this remind me of Crash from Charlie as well. Oh, ouch, no. Okay. You know, the strings really kind of bring us back to the almost like a Victorian era, very elegant, old English environment setting. I gotta say, the marriage between the strings and Charli XCX is one that I didn't really see coming, but I really like. I really, really like. It was a cute little moment. It's not my favorite track so far. And I feel like it acts almost as a transition of sorts in the movie. I do get what you mean, Explorer, that it's a little bit repetitive, but I mean, in electronic music, and this is the realm that Charli comes from, there is naturally a lot of repetition. So it's not like, it's not something that is surprising to me. But also, they are very short tracks, right? This is like 2 minutes and 20 seconds. They are tracks that don't necessarily have bridges and have like the complete structure of a pop song. The next one is like 1:27. It's even shorter. So I'm not surprised, but I feel like we might have a couple that have a bit more repetition, and then we're going to have a couple later that might not. I feel like we're going to play around with this. But yeah, okay, out of myself. I mean, I personally am not the type of person to let myself go and just like change for somebody else. So I don't relate too much to that. I will like not put myself in the harm's way to please somebody else or to just be compatible with somebody else. So I would not necessarily personally let anybody take me out of myself. But for the purpose of the movie, I guess, it probably makes a lot of sense for a specific scene or moment and that captures that type of, you know, energy or mentality. Next one, open up. Okay, it's an interlude. So there isn't much to it. Ooh, is that maybe like the male protagonist when he comes back from becoming this rich man? He's like on the door, he's like, open up, I want to see you again. But it also acts as a metaphor to be like, hey, maybe it's time to emotionally open up and connect. Maybe now that we could, and like escape together or whatever. Or open up as in doors of possibilities. So many ways we can interpret that. Mm. To me, this sounded like, you know, when you have a shot of somebody in water just floating, they kind of abandon themselves to the flow of life, and it's like this wide shot, and they're super tiny in the huge sea, and they're just floating and being carried through life out of control. This is kind of the vibe that I got from the production of this, and it was really, really nice. You know, I will say that even though there aren't a lot of words to it, I was able to go in so many different directions, and some people might say that it's overthinking, but it did remind me of something that I had once heard. It was because I work in marketing, for those who don't know. And a lot of marketing, especially when it comes to copywriting, has to do with like storytelling, right? We're telling the stories of how products came to be, what they do, services, whatever the case may be. Anyway, so the reason why I'm saying this is because one of my old bosses, who was my first mentor in marketing, once showed me something, and it was a contest that the contest was about the shortest story with the most impactful words. Okay, so there's different people that made different stories, and like some of them had like 10, 15 words, and like oftentimes like one sentence. But somebody won with like 4 or 5, and I might not be exact in the words that were used, but it was like literally new baby shoes never worn. Now take that for a moment and think about it. New baby shoes never worn. And immediately your brain spins into like, why were they never worn? Why is that important to mention? Well, that means that somebody had them, probably with the intentions of wearing them. They bought them for that purpose, and it never happened. And then why did that never happen? Because maybe the child died, or the pregnancy did not go as planned. And then it gets your brain spinning in all sorts of directions. So sometimes, and the reason why I'm saying this is because sometimes less is better than too much. Sometimes being concise and to the point just makes you think a lot more. Having space for creativity is such a great tool and mechanism than being told exactly what to think, you know? So anyway, just having the whole like open up concept, having a bit more idea of the context of the movie, immediately my brain was like going in all sorts of directions. And I think that's the beautiful thing about art, you know? Anyway, now that that's said, we are crossing the midpoint of the album. Well, we have crossed the midpoint of the album. Let's move on to the next track, Seeing Things.
It was in the winter, on a busy crossroads.
Ooh!
So I remembered about your height, just walking.
This is sort of giving, how's it called? Bridgerton. Oh. Oh. Whoa. Wow. Wow. And the build up of the 3 course is insane. I love it. Woo! Ooh, that production on the To Find You just being so loud and so close as opposed to the rest being so far away.
to find you.
Hmm. You know what? From what I know now of the movie, I feel like it's like the male protagonist came to the door banging, "Hey, where are you?" But maybe by then she had moved. She was somewhere different with another husband or whatever case may be, as we read in the snippet of text that described the story. And so now it's her being like, maybe she caught him somewhere and she knows that he's back in town and she's kind of hallucinating, wait, is he back? And then it's that obsession from way past when that's coming back, right? So it's almost the toxicity making you hallucinate things, the poison in it, in that infatuation. Production wise, amazing. I really like the whole build up aspect to it. Charli's performance, even though it's very subtle, there's something about the way that she delivers and she wrote the song that really just, it works. It really works. I'm usually a fan of like symmetry and the in the phrases and the syllables, but she did a thing here in the chorus where she goes, I think I'm seeing things, I think I'm seeing things, I think I'm seeing things, but it's not a perfect like 4/4, like I think I'm seeing things, I think I'm seeing things, I think I'm like that would have been too monotonous. But it's I think I'm seeing things, I think I'm seeing things, I think I'm seeing things, and it kind of breaks a little bit that symmetry, but it sounds really, really good. And ending the chorus on keep staring through the glass to find you, it's very anti-pop in a way, but it really, really works for this track. Really, really works. Honestly, I'm really having a great time listening to this. Whoa. Okay, next one, Alters. Oh, we're kind of having a synth pop moment
As I
now.
kneel before your altar,
Oh,
I begin to cry. You were my perfect blue, my hands together in a search for proof. The silence rang out from your window. One is not the loneliest number. Won't keep putting all my faith in you. One is not the loneliest number. Got me turning far away from you. I'm at your altar, baby. I once believed,
right. Because you were gone, you were away.
now I can see you're gonna end up killing me.
We are still not done with the whole like toxicity aspect of it.
As I lie awake in this room, I begin to pray. You and I so violently could be together in forbidden scenes. My mind is torturing my body.
Yeah, because oftentimes, like if you're in a bad mental state, it will affect the rest of your body physically.
It's not the loneliest number. Won't keep putting all my faith in you. One is not
Wow.
the loneliest number. Got me turning far away from you. I'm at your altar, baby. I want
Yeah, it's like almost praying for mercy in a way. Of like, please don't let me go. But also please free me from this toxicity.
Almost only be one. Almost only be one.
I will say that production-wise versus everything that she's ever done before, it's some of the least, I guess, overstimulating tracks that Charli has put out, I would say. In a good way, because it's also not her project, or not entirely her project, right? It's a project that also belongs to the life of the movie, and it's important as a songwriter to align with that, because you don't want to produce a soundtrack that's so disconnected from that reality that it feels inappropriate, right? So it's nice to see that kind of nuanced approach that she had in her writing and into production as well. And the whole like one is not the loneliest number is so interesting to me, because it's true. It's kind of like, I mean, it could be in a sense of like, if you're number one all the time, it's lonely to be on top. But if you learn how to be by yourself, being alone doesn't mean being lonely. And one is not always the loneliest number, right? When you're two and you have that connection, but you're two apart, you feel lonelier. And I really like that lyric. I really, really like that lyric. There's something poetic about it that you really have to think about it for a second. And it really it stimulated my brain to reflect on it. Altars. Okay. And that brings us to Eyes of the World featuring Sky Ferreira.
Do you see the stars in my eyes? Do you see me frozen in time? Watch me leave the girl behind. There's a shadow. Plum projections on my mind. Something that you recognize. Do you think you know me now? Always suspicions become true. No matter what I do, no matter what I say, you're gonna think the things you think about me anyway. Put my flesh upon the cross until I scream. Oh, the eyes of the world.
Oh, the strings in the back. Right, the judgment of everybody witnessing the story. It's funny, in the writing and the melody, I feel like it could easily translate into like an 80s rock song. Kind of a Metallica ballad, almost. Whoa.
I let the fire rush straight to my head. Sabotage to prove I meant what I said. You're gonna love me like I'm already dead. Fragments of myself reflect. See you watching them while I get ahead. I know you love me like I'm already dead. No matter what I do, no matter what I say, you're gonna think the things you think about me.
Yeah.
Anyway. Put my flesh up on the cross until I scream.
Wow. Ah, the bass. The strings they remind me of of Pink Floyd quite a bit. it's very like the eerie type of strings that like sorry I did that over the truck. Mm-hmm. And the ending. Yeah, I mean, definitely this is all about the what people think, right? When they see this toxicity from from a bird's eye view, from a third person perspective of like the judging. And it's funny because it can work both ways in the sense of like people can be so mean and like bring you down and be so against you for all the wrong reasons, and it kind of proves to you that you got to believe in yourself and stand up for yourself. But in the other way around, like if they're seeing you go down and everybody's kind of giving you the warning signs and you're also avoiding them, you're like, oh, I don't believe them, they're just being mean, but you're actually heading in the wrong direction and a worse position for yourself. It can work both ways. But yeah, the track really represents like this kind of like the downfall in the strings, as well as like, you know, those scenes in the movies that like things kind of get distorted in a way and they seem to get bigger and bigger and bigger and more imposing. I feel the production really reflected that in the thriller type of way. And yeah, it's and You're Gonna Love Me Like I'm Already Dead. Oops. Which is basically like, you know, a lot of people talk about people when they pass away, and sometimes more so than when they were alive. And so this situation is getting them to talk a lot more, almost as if she was dead, you know? Anyway, so just lyrically, I'm seeing so many ways that this applies to a movie with the plot that we read earlier. It makes a lot of sense. A nice feature by Sky Ferreira as well. I appreciate it. Appreciated it. This brings us to my reminder, second and last track of the album. Whoa. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Interesting production. Ah, so many strings. I love it. Ooh, okay, so this has to do with like family ties. Yeah, it's kind of like, hey, it's almost like the black sheep story. Like, hey, I don't match with this, you know? Mm-hmm. Damn. Oh, have I got something to say about that? It's such a chill production for Charlie. But I like it.
It's a privilege for years together. No, we never get to choose a better
Mm-hmm. Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I don't hate you, I love you too much. But I won't tell you 'cause we're just different now.
Hmm.
You're always reminding of where I started from. You're always right.
I feel like this is about a relationship with like immediate family, right? Either parents or maybe siblings, but most likely parents, I feel. It's really interesting because the way that I see it is, especially that line, I'll never prove you wrong, is like because family members have known you since so long, they still remember, they still probably are used to the version of you from way back when, and they don't. No matter how hard you try, you will never prove them wrong because they will always, by default, fall back to the perspective they have of you from way back when. And so it's like you're a reminder because you treat me the way that you used to treat me all this time, even though I'm a different person. So my reactions are different now. But no matter what I say, no matter what I try, you're not going to believe me. And in the context of the movie, I feel like this has to do with like maybe potentially the protagonists finally getting back together and sort of telling their families it's different now. We're grown-ups, we've lived experiences. I got married, he maybe ran away. I'm speaking from the female perspective, but it could also be the opposite. Like the male protagonist went away, built his life and business. The female protagonist got married. And it's like, you know what? We realized that we were meant for each other. We are choosing to get back together, even though, yes, maybe it was toxic at the beginning because we were inexperienced, but now we've grown and we're different people now. But the family's like, no, all we remember is how wrong it went, so we're not supporting you in this. And as a person, you're like, you know what? They're wrong, but there's nothing I can change about it. So it is what it is, and I'm just gonna accept the way that things are and do what I have to do for myself. And I think it's really well represented. It's almost, I want to say it's almost like a sister or cousin song to Apple in a way. Because Apple is about generational trauma, which I'm so proud that I picked up on the first listen when I originally did. But that was really from reading the lyrics, right? And so, yeah, all this to say that it really is all about that lineage and the impact of family in your decisions and how you are. You know, it's kind of like what holds you back versus what challenges you to change, and letting go of a past that other people aren't ready to let go of. So, yeah. Okay, and now that brings us to the last track of the album, Funny Mouth.
When they come out, unfunny words from your funny mouth, I take them inside. Are you man enough to compromise?
Whoa.
If there's a light, don't let it go out. Take it in stride, put your foot in your mouth. Will we be alright? Alright, alright, alright.
Oh. Whoa. Which I always like a distorted sound because they represent the distortion in perspective. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Interesting. The tension. Okay.
Everyone sleeps and everyone wakes up. Everyone sleeps and everyone wakes up.
Interesting. I mean, this one I probably don't have enough context to be able to fully understand what it represents, because it's later in the movie and probably closer to the conclusion of the movie in a way, if the tracks are in order. But there's kind of two ways that you could take it. It's either something didn't work out in the end, and they're like, you know what, it's time to wake up from this dream that we've had, which could have been a nightmare at some point when it was toxic, and like, hey, it's all right, we're gonna make it through, we're gonna move on to other things, that's part of life, we're done. Or this was the scene where maybe the protagonist, the female protagonist, which I think according to the plot that we read got married, is like breaking it up with the husband to go join the first love. And so it's like, hey, we were dreaming for a little bit because, you know, the other person wasn't in the portrait, but now they've come back and they've kind of, they're like, reality is settling in. And so it's like, we're going to be all right. But then there's this line of, if there's a light, don't let it go out, which really makes me think it's about the main two protagonists. And like something about how there's a bad tendency to refer to the past. Yeah, maybe more in a way of like, you know, some things are unresolved and they kind of keep boiling up to the surface once in a while. So it's like unfunny words coming from your funny mouth because, you know, like, especially the, are you man enough to compromise? Like, hey, are you good enough to put this in the past and be like, you're going to accept the fact that I got married and I have this whole other life before you, or before getting back together. And just like, we're going to be all right. We're going to pull through. Like, it's time to face reality. And this is the reality we're going to face if we decide to continue this together, you know? Once again, I could be completely wrong because I don't have the context of the movie, but that is sort of my take on it. And it's very, once again, very haunting. I mean, you look at the visuals and they very much represent that, this like dark energy, this like twisted love, this like toxicity, almost like the wine that could kill you because it's poison, you know? But I will have to say that overall, this album was really interesting as a piece of work. There's probably a handful of tracks that I want to go back to listen to again. Like Dying for You probably is the one that was like most pop sounding to me, and definitely has more playback value, I guess, in a way. But I was correct in the sense where I felt like every track, uh like I said at the beginning of reacting to this album, every track almost look is a painting in a way, and you're walking into this museum and you're taking like 2-3 minutes to observe every painting, take it in, absorb it, the energy, the colors, the nuances, the tones, and making up this like storyline. And it's like you take 3-4 minutes for a track, and then you move on to the next one, which is like another painting, and then you kind of do the same thing again. And it really was a moment. Not to make a terrible pun with the moment that came out, her movie, but um, it was very much a storytelling type of project. It was different for Charli, but still had some of her signature elements. The writing was good. The description and the representation of the lyrics and what they meant, I was really, really captivated by them. And it's a very nice album to accompany a visual like this movie. I really, really enjoyed listening to the entirety of it. It's probably not everybody's cup of tea, granted, but I like pop music, easy listening music, as much as I like more sophisticated projects. And to me, this is really a nice, sophisticated project. It's like, I agree with you, Brendan. It's W album. There is this kind of like the demand and supply type of model, if you're familiar with that from economy, that the more kind of like the more complex a project, the less commercial it is, or the less simple it is, the more it can be seen as artistic but less commercial for sales, So this is one of the projects where I feel like Brat was really a great intersection between artistic and commercial, and that's why it was the massive success that it was. This is definitely leaning towards the artistic side. So not necessarily the same type of commercial success to expect from Brat, but definitely a win from an artistic perspective, and a very nice project in my opinion. I really, really enjoyed it. And yeah, now I feel like I should go see the movie just to understand what this album is about. I'm going to have to think about that. But I definitely did enjoy listening to Wuthering Heights, the album by Charli Xcx. Nice little album. It's also kind of in the same concept. I don't know. It feels to me, I don't know if it's used explicitly as a soundtrack in the movie, but it reminds me a little bit of The Gift by Beyonce when she did that album that accompanied Lion King, the remake that came out a couple of years ago. It's a piece that really takes a story and interprets it and creates an auditive experience around it to really highlight some of the emotions and the context and the perspectives of the storyline. And I really, really appreciated it. Nice project, Charli. Nice project. And yeah, that was Wuthering Heights by Charli Xcx. Huh. You're still here. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little surprised. I guess you're really, really patient. Or weird. I don't know which one I prefer. Anyway. Enjoy. Wow, I had such a great time reacting to this project. At least, I certainly hope I did. I wouldn't know. If you leave a mean comment on one of my videos, don't worry. I definitely won't be crying myself to sleep at 3 a.m. in the bed that you see behind me. I'm not even kidding. I got bullied way too much as a kid to even feel anything nowadays. Can you believe that I wrote all these outros by myself? I definitely did not waste 5 business days to write them. I hope you enjoyed them. You can't see it, but I am most definitely wearing pants. I just choose never to get up during my videos.